Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the NFL slate on DraftKings for Week 15. We have an 11-game slate for Week 15. I'm going to go through each position and talk about some of my favorite plays that I like at each position. If there's studs I like at the top, I'll try and hit on those. If there's mid-tier plays I like, I'll touch on those. And if I see any value at each position, I'll try and hit on some value plays as well. Before we do get started, though, I would appreciate it if you would drop a like on the video. It really does help me out a lot. If you guys are new to the channel, if this is your first time checking out a video on my channel, thank you so much for clicking on the video. I really appreciate it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below so that way you won't miss out on any of my new videos. But yeah, let's go ahead and look at quarterback for this Week 15 slate. So at the top, really there's only two guys I want to pay up for at this position. You could go to Russell Wilson at 6,700, but I think I would rather play Big Ben at 6,600. I just really like that game. Patriots Steelers should be a great game to watch. Should be a high scoring game. I think both teams can put up points. Big Ben at home, we know he plays really well. So I do like paying up for Big Ben at 6,600. And even though Andrew Luck's in a tough matchup, I don't mind going to Andrew Luck this week. I think I would prefer Big Ben against the Patriots, but Andrew Luck, even in a tough spot against Dallas, Andrew Luck just been throwing the ball so much this year. The Colts really don't have much of a running game. Luck's going out there throwing the ball 30, 40 times a game, sometimes even more if the other team's able to put up points and the Colts are trailing. So I like Luck and Roethlisberger a lot if you can pay up. But there's not a lot of value I see, so we might need to save at quarterback this week. And there are some value plays I like. I like Lamar Jackson a lot. I like his matchup, but it does seem like Joe Flacco's going to come back for this game, and Joe Flacco might take some snaps away from Lamar Jackson. I think Jackson's still going to start, and he's still going to be the starting quarterback, but Flacco's going to be involved, it looks like, so that might scare people off of Lamar Jackson. Probably going to make me a little bit hesitant to roster him, at least in a lot of lineups. So I think the quarterback I really like for value is on the other side of that Patriots-Steelers game. I do like Tom Brady a lot at 5,900. Brady's finally coming off a ceiling game in his last game against the Dolphins. The Dolphins were able to put up points, put up 33 points on the Patriots, and we saw Brady put up a really big game. I feel like this could be the same thing where the Steelers are able to put up points on the Patriots and Brady's kind of forced to throw. He threw 43 times in that game against the Dolphins. He threw for 358 yards and 3 touchdowns, 29 DraftKings points. We got a 303 game from Brady. It's been since, I think, Week 5 against the Colts, where he threw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Yeah, Week 5 against the Colts, he threw for 341 and 3. Week 7 against the Bears, only 277 yards, but did throw for 3 touchdowns in that game. So the first week for 303 from Brady in like 9 weeks. And I think he could repeat it again this week. I like this spot a lot for Tom Brady. Going up against this really good Steelers offense, they're going to put up points. Brady's going to be forced to throw. So I like him a lot as a value play at 5,900. The good thing about playing Brady is he spreads the ball around so much. You don't really have to stack him with somebody. Obviously, you can stack him with Gronk or stack him with Edelman, Josh Gordon. But Brady, you can play by himself because he spreads the ball around so much. And I think that's what I'm going to be doing a lot this week. I don't really love the Steelers or the Patriots receivers. Maybe Gronk, but like Edelman, Gordon both seem a little bit more expensive than I would like to pay. Brady's probably the guy I like the most from the Patriots offense. But there's a few more value plays I want to touch on at quarterback. So Aaron Rodgers is in a tough matchup, but he's 5,700, which definitely needs to be talked about. Rodgers just too cheap for the upside he brings to the table. Obviously, it's a really bad matchup against the Bears on the road as well. But I don't mind going to Aaron Rodgers this week. I think I'd prefer Brady, but Aaron Rodgers is definitely in play. Dak Prescott as well. Been playing really well lately, throwing the ball a lot more. At 5,500, I do like Dak a lot here. I think the Colts will be able to put up points on this Cowboys defense. So Dak might be forced to throw. And at 5,500, he's a value play that I think you can go to. And then the last guy I want to mention is really cheap. Josh Johnson is supposed to be starting for the Redskins this week. And I think he came into that game last week against the Giants in like the third quarter. Mark Sanchez got benched. Josh Johnson came in, and he threw 11 completions out of 16 attempts in about a quarter and a half. Had 195 yards and a touchdown. Also ran the ball 7 times for 45 yards. He had a rushing touchdown as well. Josh Johnson does bring rushing upside to the table. So at 4,300, even on the road against Jacksonville, I think he definitely is in consideration, especially since he has rushing upside that just adds to his floor and adds to his ceiling. At 4,300, he could be one of the better values at quarterback. It's going to be interesting to see what other people are saying about Josh Johnson. I do like to listen to a lot of other podcasts and stuff. It's going to be interesting to see what people are saying about Johnson. At 4,300, though, I think he could be a value play we look to for a cheaper quarterback. But yeah, let's move on to running back now. Even though there's not a lot of value on this slate, running back's definitely a position I want to try and pay up at if I can. You have Barkley and Zeke both over 9K, and I think my preferred option here is Zeke at 9K against the Colts. I just really like this matchup for Zeke, really like this game environment. In a dome, should be a high-scoring game. Zeke, as of late, just been getting massive work. He got 40 touches last game against the Eagles. The game did go to overtime, but still just massive work for Zeke. He got 13 targets. This is something we haven't seen in the past for Elliott. He's been involved in the passing game, but not like he has been this year. He's getting like crazy targets this year. Almost 6, 7, 8 targets a game. Last game against the Eagles, he got 13 targets. And we know the carries are going to be there for Zeke. If they get in the goal line, if they get in the red zone, Zeke's going to be used a ton, whether it's in the passing game or running the ball up the middle. So I just love Zeke so much. Dude just gives you such a high floor, such a high ceiling. 9K, he's worth his price tag. I think I prefer him over Barkley. I'm going to have exposure to both guys, but if I was playing one lineup and I had to choose one guy, Zeke would definitely be the guy I'd roll with at 9K. And then probably my next favorite expensive running back, I don't think James Conner is going to be able to play this week. If he's able to play, I do like him a lot at 7,400, but he's looking more on the doubtful side, so probably not going to be able to go to Conner. I think that's going to lean a lot of people going to David Johnson, and this is a really good spot for David Johnson. I do like him a lot. I expect him to be popular, but the matchup's just too good to avoid. The Falcons this year against running backs, we know how bad they are. They allow a ton of passes to be caught by running backs, giving up a lot of rushing yards as well per game. David Johnson been getting a lot of work lately, been getting 15 to 20 carries a game. Last week against Detroit when they were playing from behind, David Johnson got 10 targets in that game, so he's used a lot in the passing game. He's been used a lot in the passing game more as of late. So I just love this spot for David Johnson. I think he is a really good play this week at 7,100. That's a pretty nice price for him, given the matchup. In the dome as well, should be a remotely high-scoring game if the Cardinals can manage to put up some points, which I think they probably can. This Falcons defense really been struggling this year. So I do like David Johnson a lot. I like pairing him with Zeke. That's probably going to be the running back combo that I go with in a lot of lineups on Sunday. But other running backs we could potentially go to, there isn't a ton I love in David Johnson's price range. I think my favorite play, a little bit cheaper, would probably be Joe Mixon down here at 6,100. But playing guys from the Bengals right now just doesn't seem like a smart idea, even though they're going up against the Raiders and it's a great matchup. I guess you could go to Joe Mixon. He's been getting decent work lately. He got 26 carries last game against the Chargers, 6 targets as well. Joe Mixon's still been playing really well, even though the Bengals as a team have not. So I don't mind going to him at 6,100. I think he is a good play here against the Raiders. Will probably be in some of my lineups at 6,100. But there is a value play that I want to touch on. Maybe 2 value plays. Jalen Samuels, I think we can go back to him, even with the increase in price at 5,200. With how he's involved in the passing game, with how I expect this game to be scored, with I expect it to be high scoring, I think Jalen Samuels, 5,200, is for sure in play. But if Matt Breida is out again, I really like going back to Jeff Wilson Jr. at 4,600. Jeff Wilson Jr. was very popular last week with Breida out. He was really cheap. He was like 3,800. And he got a lot of work. He didn't have a great game, but he still got 23 carries. Also got 2 targets as well. This is a decent matchup against the Seahawks. The Seahawks defense, even though they look really good Monday night, they haven't been the same defense this year as they have been in past years. So I do like this matchup for Jeff Wilson Jr. If Breida plays, we're obviously not going to be able to go to Jeff Wilson, but if Breida is out again, I think Jeff Wilson Jr. still at 4,600 is a value play that is in consideration for me, especially on a week where we're kind of searching for value, where there isn't a ton of value that I love. So I like him as probably my favorite cheap running back on the slate. I think that's it for this position, so let's move on to receiver now. This is another position where there are some good top-tier plays, but it's going to be really hard to fit these guys in. I think it's going to be really hard to prioritize these guys over the expensive running backs. Like I like AB a lot here against the Patriots in that matchup at home as well. I like a Big Ben to AB stack if you can manage to do that, but it's going to be hard to prioritize AB over Zeke, over DJ, over Saquon Barkley. I have exposure to Brown, but not going to be a core play for me. Same with, I guess, could be said with like Odell. If he's able to go, Juju Smith-Schuster, Devontae Adams. It's going to be hard to prioritize these guys over the expensive running backs. I like some mid-range plays of receivers if you're not going to the top. I think T.Y. Hilton, even in a tough matchup with Dallas, is a really good play here at 6,800. I imagine Byron Jones is going to be on T.Y. Hilton, which is not the best matchup, but T.Y.'s just been so good as of late. Just getting massive work. The Colts are at home as well, where we know T.Y. plays really well at home. Been getting 10-plus targets a game. Last 3 games he's seen 10-plus targets. He's managed to get 100 yards in 3 of his last 4 games. Would not be surprised if we get 100 yards again out of T.Y. Hilton. At 6,800, I like him a lot. I played him over Amari Cooper last week, which was a big mistake. Honestly think I'd do it again, though. Cooper's 700 more. I think I'd take the savings off of Cooper and go down to T.Y. Hilton at 6,800. But now let's try and touch on some value plays. I think Allen Robinson, 5,500 is in consideration for value. Probably not my favorite play. He's not really that great of a value at 5,500, but against the Packers, bad secondary. I don't mind Allen Robinson. But sub 5K, I think the value play that sticks out to me is Dede Westbrook. He's only 4,500. I did get 10 targets last week on Thursday Night Football against the Titans. He got 10 targets, 7 catches, 88 yards, and a touchdown. He's kind of grown like chemistry with Cody Kessler. Kessler's been he's been starting as of late for Jacksonville. He's been targeting Dede Westbrook a lot, and I think that continues this week against Washington. Dede Westbrook, I imagine, will not be guarded by Josh Norman. I'd imagine they put Josh Norman on like Dante Moncrief or whoever plays on the outside. I know Westbrook plays a lot in the slot. I don't think Josh Norman goes to the slot. So I do like this matchup for Dede Westbrook. I like his price. I like the targets he's been getting lately. And on a week where we're really searching for value, I think Dede Westbrook does stand out as one of the better value plays at receiver. Sterling Shepard, though, if Odell does not play this week again, if Odell's out again, Sterling Shepard, I'm going to go right back to the well on him at 4,400, especially in a matchup against Tennessee. But that's going to have to be a wait and see. We don't have any news on Odell yet as I'm recording this video on Tuesday. But yeah, I think that's it for receiver. So let's move on to tight end now. Tight end, another position where you got good options at the top, but it's going to be hard to pay up at this position this week unless we do get some value. I was able to pay up a lot at tight end last week because we had so many value plays. Not the same this week, but if you can pay up, definitely my favorite option here would probably be George Kittle at 6,300. Kittle just gets massive work, just getting a ton of targets on a weekly basis. I'd probably rank the tight ends how they are in price. Kittle, number 1, Ebron 2, Gronk 3, and Jared Cook 4. Gronk's finally starting to see his price increase, but he's been looking good lately. He got 8 catches last week against the Dolphins, 107 yards, and a touchdown. We're finally seeing Gronk healthy now, and he's finally playing the way we thought he could play, or at least I thought he could play. I've always thought Gronk's going to be one of the best tight ends in the league. I know people have thought he's like not healthy, but when he is healthy, dude's just really hard to guard, just such a big guy, hard to defend. So I do like paying up for Gronk, but I think I'd put Kittle over him, and I'd put Ebron over him for sure. But I think tight end, we can find value here. So Jordan Reed is doubtful this week. I think my favorite tight end play when it comes to value is probably Vernon Davis down here at 3,200. I expect Vernon Davis to probably play an every down role now that Jordan Reed is most likely going to be done for the season. I believe the Redskins are like out of the playoff hunt, I believe. So Jordan Reed, they're probably going to shut him down the rest of the year. So Vernon Davis should be looking at an every down role. Should be seeing plenty of targets come his way. And at 3,200, I think we easily get 5-6 targets out of Vernon Davis. Could potentially get more. Vernon Davis has actually shown some upside this year. Did have a big game against Dallas where he caught a long touchdown, 2 catches, 73 yards, and a touchdown. I know he hasn't seen a ton of playing time this year because because Jordan Reed's been healthy. But now that Jordan Reed is out, Vernon Davis, 3,200 is probably my favorite value tight end if we're trying to go cheap at this position. He's probably going to be the guy that I play the most this week. So yeah, I think that's it for tight end. Not a ton of great plays. Maybe Evan Ingram again if Odell's out, but honestly think I'd rather take the savings, go down to Vernon Davis. I'll try and fit in Kittle and like Ebron, Gronk in as many lineups as I can, but probably going to have to go cheap with the minimal value on the slate. Let's move on to defense, though. Quickly talk about defense before we end the video. So at the top, I usually try and go cheap here, but if you want to pay up, favorite play at the top would probably be the Vikings or the Ravens at home. Definitely probably the Ravens at home against Winston. We know Winston turns the ball over so much. The Bucs throw the ball so much that could lead to turnovers, that could lead to sacks, interceptions. So 3K at home for the Ravens, probably my favorite defense to pay up for. But talking about some cheaper defenses, I don't like playing a defense against against somebody I have, so that's probably going to keep me off of the Falcons defense. But if you don't play David Johnson this week, I think the Falcons defense at 2,700 against Josh Rosen, who's not looked great lately. Falcons defense for sure in play. Maybe the Giants at home against Tennessee you could go to. I don't mind going there. The Bengals at home against Oakland, even though the Bengals have looked really bad lately defensively. Matchup at home against the Raiders is a good bounce back spot for the Bengals, so I don't mind going to them at 2,500. Usually, when I'm trying to find a cheap defense, I look for a defense that's at home against a bad team. That's kind of what's leading me to like the Bengals, it's kind of the Giants if you want to go there, the Falcons, maybe even the Bills. Those are some of the defense I land on that I feel like I'm going to be playing a lot this week. So I think that is it for defense, and I think that is it for the video. This video is a little bit quicker than some of my other NFL videos. I went through the positions rather quickly, but hopefully this video was still helpful. If the video did help, then make sure you click that like button. I would appreciate it, guys. Make sure you subscribe if you have not already, and if you do have any questions, feel free to leave them down below in the comment section, or you can hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT. But yeah, guys, good luck on Sunday on this Week 15 slate. We'll see you in the next video.